for Angola. I will be standing in for your tutor, Mr. Phineas Nangula, sorry for that. I'm basically here to present to you exam-based contact sessions for the subject economics with a subject code of ACS/DSE ECO 11 or 12. I am the moderator for economics, and this is just a presentation for guidance with regards to the upcoming exams. Before we start, I would like to emphasize that the presentation is not limited to anything. This is not exactly what is in the exam. It is what is in the exam, but we still say students should be able to read all the chapters or all the units in the study guide. They should still be able to understand and familiarize themselves with the different topics and different understandings of economics, so that you are in a better space to be able to debate on economics terminologies or economics analysis. So with further ado, let's continue. We have prepared some slides for you that will serve as guidance for you. Let me just start with the first one. We cannot start economics without defining economics. And there have been so many definitions of economics, as there are different economists who are trying to define the subject. However, the commonly one being used from time to time is one from Joseph Stiglitz, which states that economics is the study of how individuals, firms, government, and other organizations within our society make choices, and how the choices determine how the resources of the society are used. This is a quotation or notation from your Iol Economic Study Guide. It's on page 4. Others have also gone on to say that economics is a science of the management of scarce resources. As you might have studied or learned in economics, resources are scarce while needs are unlimited. So it's a further science of the management of the different scarce resources that we have compared to the unlimited needs of the community at large. So with economics, we start to say that they are factors of production, since it has to do with production. Economists have identified factors that are crucial to production and productivity as follows. The different factors of production are land, labor, capital or money, entrepreneurship. So you as an economics student should be able to understand these factors. You should be able to be in a position to tell us or tell the examiners what are the payments or income compensation for these factors of production. Like if I have to give an example, an income for land is rent, for labor is wages, and so on for capital. So you should be in a position to explain it and also give us the income compensation for each production factor. In as much as we say economics is about factors of production and all, you as a student should also be able to study the whole Namibian economy as a whole. You should be able to explain the different wages or income structures that are available. You should be able to explain what are the different wage differentials, like what causes wages to be different. It could be sometimes skills required for a different job. So you as a student should be able to be in a position to explain in an examination that why are different wages different compared to different jobs. The most important thing as an economics student is to familiarize yourself with the different economics terminologies. This places you in a good understanding space whereby you are able to conceptualize them, you are able to apply them, and you are able to analyze given a situation or given a debate with regards to economics and the different influences or effects. You are able to stand out and show yourself as an economics student. So it also helps you to get yourself into an economics language, because you are an economics student, and economics is like an everyday kind of subject that is used. So we have so many different terminologies in economics. We have the likes of the fiscal policy. We can also add the monetary policy. We have a private, public sector. We have money markets. We have economic rent. We have economic profit. We have so much as GDP. We have balance of payment. We have opportunity cost. All these terminologies, you as an economics student should be able to define them. You should be able to differentiate them from each other, and you should be able to put it in a concept if asked to, or just write something about it. So that forms part of you grow more depth when you apply these terminologies on your daily basis. An important part of any exams or even economics as you study it on general is you should be able to calculate the various costs. Economics is about analysis of in an economy of businesses, so it forms half of it or a quarter of it is mostly comprising of calculations. So you should be able to calculate this. A step or a good advice that I can give you is to learn and master all these formulas. So there's different various costs that are calculated in economics. We have a few examples of fixed costs, marginal cost, total revenue or profit. You could be asked, if it's in a demand question, you could be asked to calculate elasticity, or there's so many costs, or you could be asked to calculate break-even point. So in a typical exam, we could give you anything from calculating a simple cost, let's say like fixed cost, or we could put it in a table for you where you calculate all these different types of cost on a table, and where we give you starting off points or numbers to use. So please study this and master the formulas, because the only way you can be able to calculate this cost is if you know the formulas. Don't memorize it. Study the formulas to understand it, because if you have to memorize, then I can definitely say you'll get confused and you will have trouble, whether it's a test or an assignment or an exam. When it comes to cost, you should be able to identify units of output that would help a firm to maximize profit. This can be asked where you are asked at which level or output will a firm break even, or how much does a firm need to produce to maximize its output. So you should be able to learn how to calculate all this. Use practical examples like case studies in your study guide, so that should you be encountered with any question with regards to calculations, with regards to you perhaps identifying break-even points, profit maximization, you are able to give us an answer, or even able to interpret those answers that you'll get, or the results that you get at a final calculation point. So formulas can be, maybe if you're asked level of output profit maximization, that is where marginal cost equals to marginal revenue. So please put emphasis on calculations so you are able to master it and at least be able to be in a position to understand and interpret the results if you are given, like let's say if you get this certain point of answer, what exactly does it mean for the company or a firm. Economics revolves around different economic systems. What is an economic system? We define an economic system as a mechanism by which economic activity is regulated and controlled by the government. So we have three major types of economic systems. The first one is free market system. This is where the level of economic activity, including choices on which goods or services to produce or to supply, is left entirely to market forces with little government intervention. A second economic system is controlled or command economic system. This is where the government plays a major role in deciding what products the industry should produce, including prices to be charged. The last one is a mixed economy. This is an economy which comprises of both elements from the free market with a bit of government intervention. And when we speak in general, most economic systems in different countries are of a mixed nature. So we would, as an economics student, you should be able to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of the different economic systems in Namibia. This helps you in analyzing Namibia's economy. Like if you are asked the question to which system is more applicable to the Namibian economy, or which one would you think would work for a Namibian economy, you are only able to answer such a question if you fully understand the advantages or the disadvantages of the different economic system. You should also be able to understand and advise. If you were, for example, an economic advisor, you should be able to write something on all this and be able to advise different economics minister, or what are these systems comprising of, or what are the uses, or how can we put them into practice, or how can it be improved. So please read on economic systems in your study guide, understand everything, and be able to differentiate the different three from each other. Economics also has a portion of financial institutions, or it has a study on the different financial institutions within a country. They are different financial institutions. We have Bank of Namibia, we have our different commercial banks, which comprises of the FNB, the Benwindo, the Nedbank. So you should be able to understand what is a central bank, what are the roles, what are the functions, which goes in hand with the roles of a commercial bank, the functions of a commercial bank, and any other financial institutions that we have in Namibia. So please read through that chapter in your book, and also you as a student should be able to note or say the importance of financial institutions in an economy and the activities. What are their activities? If you are given, let's say, different financial institutions, are you able to place them under what they fall, or are you able to compare the functions of a central bank to that of a commercial bank? We also do not want to forget the role of trade union. There are so many trade unions in Namibia, and a simple definition is a trade union is an association of employees formed to protect and promote the interest of its members. So we have NAPU, we have what are the different? Yeah, that's one of them. So understand or try to put it in context with the real life situations, like what is it that trade unions normally advocate for, what is their role in business organizations, and how does it help the economy in turn. You should also be able to know the advantages and disadvantages of trade unions. So if you are asked, do you think a trade union is a good thing or a bad thing, you will only be able to answer this if you know what are the good things or benefits of a trade union, or what is the bad with regards to that trade union. Then we come to market structures. We have different market structures within the economy of a country. An example of these are some of the ones that are noted below here, which is monopoly, perfect competition market, oligopoly, and there is many more. So when it comes to this, be able to differentiate the characteristic of each market structure, be able to tell us how is the entry into these different markets, how is it to access it, and be able to motivate why you think maybe a monopoly is good or perfect competition is good for a certain kind of market. Do you think it would be of benefit or no benefit? So read through everything. They all have characteristics, they all have entry, how difficult is it to enter, how easy is it, what do you need to enter, and all that. One of the biggest problem in Namibia is unemployment. Unemployment refers to a situation where the country's employment creation capacity is unable to provide job opportunities to all people who are currently looking for jobs or are in the age of working. We have different types of unemployment. We have seasonal unemployment, we have fractional unemployment, we have technological unemployment, we have structural unemployment, we have cyclical unemployment. So this guides you in such a way that you should be able to define all this. Another one that I forgot is temporary unemployment. So be able to define it, be able to differentiate them apart from each other, be able to know what are the characteristics that one faces under seasonal, and also what are the causes of unemployment in Namibia. With causes, you should also be able to come up with solutions. So maybe because it could be like seasonal unemployment is mostly depending on seasons. There's some jobs where they have seasons where that job is available. Maybe like the fishing sector, there's a time when fish is not available, and then there's a time when fish is available, and then people are called in to go work. So that would fall under seasonal unemployment. So you should be able to come up with what causes such type of unemployment, and how would you remedy, or how would you feel that the government or the policy makers or the people in positions to solve this, how would they be able to solve such kind of problems? If not the biggest or the most important thing in economics is to know the theory of demand. What is demand? Demand in economics is defined as the measure of amount of goods and services consumers are willing and able to buy at any given point. The law of demand states that as the price of a product decreases, the quantity demanded will increase. You as an economics student should be able to understand the law of demand. You should be able to understand what factors influence demand. We have some here like income, consumer taste and preferences, the price of substitute goods. These are goods that you can use instead of one good. Maybe instead of margarine you can use butter. The price of complementary goods. Complementary goods are goods that complement each other. So when we say coffee and tea, sugar, those are complementary goods. The size of a market plays a major role in influencing the demand. You should also be able to calculate the price elasticity of demand if asked to. Learn the formulas. Some people say there's 3 formulas, but those formulas are basically the same. So if you understand them, you'll be able to use any of those formulas that are there to calculate price elasticity. You should also be able to maybe if given a graph, you should be able to show where is the equilibrium of demand, or you should be able to interpret the answers that you get when you calculate the price elasticity of demand. Demand goes hand in hand with supply, so you should be able to understand the theory of supply as well. You should be able to understand the law of supply, which states that the increase, the law of supply states that the increase in quantity supplied in turn increases the prices. So learn or understand this for understanding. Don't study it just to pass exams, because if you just learn to to pass. You will not get, this is like the fundamentals of economics. You need to understand the dynamics of demand and supply because it goes hand in hand, and the economy is driven by the demand and supply within its economy. Also learn the factors influencing supply, and you should be able to be in a position to calculate the supply elasticity as well. Please learn the formulas. The most important thing when it comes to calculations, once you have mastered a calculation or a formula, you cannot go any wrong. You cannot go any wrong or be able not to interpret the results. So understand the interpretations, be able to be, if you are asked to draw a demand graph, you should be able to draw it. You should be able, if asked what are the factors influencing the supply curve, you should be able to mention them as well. There are so many important topics to look at. One of them is the impact of HIV and AIDS on the Namibian economy. How is it that this deadly disease or virus impacts our economy? How does it impact our productivity? So you as a student should be able to write and motivate your answers if asked, what is it that this deadly disease is impacting on? Is it impacting on our productivity? Are there different sectors that it's hitting the most? Or how is it that we can help to maintain a stable rate at which it doesn't affect the economy so bad? Informal sector or formal sector. These are the different sectors or how the sectors are categorized in economics. You should be able to give us characteristics of an informal sector and the formal sector. You should be able, if asked in a general question, which sector do you think this business will thrive in? Do you think our country needs more of the formal sector, or do you think it needs more of an informal sector settings or business undertakings? Another topic is macro and microeconomics. These are some of the categories in which the different economics are categorized. Like we say, microeconomics is the study of how a single firm behaves in an economy, while macroeconomics is the study of an entire economy of a country and how it works. So when it comes to this, you should be able to know the different economic indicators within the macro and macroeconomics. We have different like the GDP, the unemployment, the inflation. You should also be able as a student to calculate tax. Know what kind of tax we use or the formulas that we use to calculate income tax in our country. Be able to motivate, if asked to motivate for that answer. So basically those are some of the important topics, not forgetting that any other topic in economics can be asked. That is why we emphasize that you study the whole book, you study all the units, you go through all the case studies and all the exercises within each unit, and you try to understand and do as many examples so that you can enhance your understanding and your application or analysis of the accounting concepts that you have learned within the past year or so. There are so many other topics that you can look at. Look at inflation, look at economics as a whole, try to go through all the assignments that you have done, or any exercises that you have done. Try to capture as much from those. Take notes of all the notes that you have received from your tutor, and if you are able to grasp all that you have read or studied in economics, then I can guarantee you that the exams would be a walk in the park. What are my final comments? Most of the economic concepts require you to understand, not actually memorize. So I emphasize that you read and understand, so that you are able to answer any question, whether it's turned upside down or we ask it from a point where you did not expect. So when it comes to exams, you will have a 3 hours paper. It will be out of 130 marks, and all I can say is read the verb. Look at the verbs in the question. What is the question asking you to do? Is it asking you to define? Is it asking you to analyze? Is it asking you to differentiate? Or is it asking you to compare between two different concepts? Read all them. You can even go through your extra reading references to see if you can get some of those books. They would help you with studies when it comes to extra knowledge or gaining extra knowledge on a topic. And do as many examples, activities, exercises in economics as you can. You see by the end of it, you are able to answer or even conceptualize. Conceptualize is very important when it comes to economics. So that is where we say you are able to look at a topic and be able to contribute, be it whether you are teaching someone or explaining it to someone. So with that said, there isn't really much I can say. Read everything from page 1 to the last page in your economics module. Try to understand as much as you can. If there are any further questions, you will see that my email is at the beginning of the slide. You are free to send me any queries or questions. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Or alternatively, if you have your tutor's details, you can send him an email or just drop him an email with your query, and we'll try to assist you. So with that said, I would like to wish you all the best. Do not forget to study everything, read everything. As we said, these slides are not limited to everything. There could be stuff that are not here that you could expect in the exam. So read about it, learn as much as you can, and be able so that you are in a situation or position where you are able to answer any question that we will ask you. So with that said, all the best with the exams, and that was the end of my presentation. Thank you.